Well, it's the end of 2023 and this is the finale. Tonight, we'll talk about the future of privately making firearms. Hawkeye will share with us what he's working on to round up the season in Hawkeye's Custom Corner, and we'll even get a visit from Nosce Veritas in his Safety Second segment. We'll talk about that, your questions, and a whole lot more. Tonight on the Build This Tribe Tuesday Fireside Chat, the Wednesday edition. Yo, what's up, folks? What's up? Welcome back to the Build This Tribe. Welcome. It is December 27th at 10 p.m. Eastern Coast time. And if you're here with us, great. Welcome. If you're watching on replay, we appreciate you watching the replay. And because this is the season finale. This is the end of 2023. We are closing out 2023 strong. No, it's been a while since we've been here, man. It's just been crazy. I mean, I think we say it every time we come on that, you know, everybody's just been so busy between the holidays and kids and work and life changes and everything else going on. And I'm sure the world is feeling it. I see it happening out there. And so it's kind of put a stranglehold on a lot of us. So, but we thank you for being here. If you're here live, thank you. Because you could be doing anything else on a Tuesday. Well, actually, I'm sorry. This is Wednesday night edition. Anything on a Wednesday night at 10 p.m. But you chose to be here with us. And if you're watching on replay, we most definitely appreciate you taking your time to listen to a couple of humble guys that just want to share good information. So, without further ado, I just want to bring on one of the staples here, and he started out as just you know, wanting to drop by every now and again, and you know, he's pretty much here every week, and some week he takes off, but he's his own man, so he can drop in anytime he wants. He has a wealth of knowledge and information, and we definitely appreciate him being a part of the crew. He is absolutely equal to all of us, and sometimes above us in different things and different knowledge he has. So I just want to welcome Mr. Hawkeye. What's going on, dude?
Well, hey, everybody. Nah, I'm not that good. I just make do with what I got.
Yeah, well, what you got is a lot better than some of us, you know what I mean? Because you have a wealth of knowledge of time and wisdom. So you know,
it took me a lifetime to build up a little shop full of hand tools. So, but it's once you get your stuff, take care of it, and it can last you a long time.
Yeah, most definitely, you know. But I'm going to start the show out with a cheers to 2023. Thank goodness it's gone. We're going to welcome in a new 2024. Yeah. What you drinking tonight? You got some brandy with you?
Always.
So do I. I got some Parmesan right here in my cup. So
exactly. That's the best stuff right there.
Yes, sir. So, you know, great minds think alike.
Yeah. I've only been drinking it for, I don't know, 50, 60 years now.
What's going on, Mr. Vino? Good to see you, fine sir. Man, I tell you what, I'm excited to be here. We got Hawkeye's Custom Corner coming up, and we definitely have a message from Mr. Nosce Veritas. He's unfortunately unable to be here with us. I just said life is happening to all of us. He's holding down the household and with his kids and you know, taking care of life. But he took time out to give us a Safety Second segment. Since it's the finale and the wrap up of the year, he decided to go ahead and take time out and put together a message for us. And we really appreciate it. And just so I was as surprised as all of you, I have not watched it either. I watched the first few minutes just to make sure that it would broadcast. So I'm going to be hearing the message along with you as he says it. So I figured it would be better that way, because that way we all get to know at the same time. So, but anyway, Hawkeye, what's been going on with you the last few weeks, man?
Well, making cookies took away from working on my bills for the last week or so. And then the Christmas thing with all the family and that. So and I'm waiting on paint too. As soon as I get my paint in, I'll be painting this new build I'm doing after I put my serial numbers on. I printed those out today. I'm going to try and put those on in the next couple of days, especially before paint. Always put your serial numbers on after you do all your mods and you get it sanded and stuff. Then put your serial numbers on, and then you can clean it all up for your paint because it does make a mess. Especially if you have
we're going to get to see a little peek of what you're working on tonight.
Sure, I always post what I'm doing so you guys can ask questions and follow along.
I need to do that because I like to get it all done and then show you how I did it. But I like the way you guys you put it up as you go. Okay, I did this and this.
And the reason I do that is guys, you don't have to do everything my way. Give me some ideas on how you would sand it or how you would shape it or something, because there's all kinds of ways to do stuff. It's not always my way. I do a lot of things the way I do because those are the tools I have at hand to do them. Because there's a lot of stuff you can do if you had better equipment than I've got.
Well, I definitely don't have better equipment than you. I'm trying to catch up to you. I see the stuff you use, and
you got the same stuff I do.
That's because I've been listening to you.
You had the thing that would really help in building is have a decent little CNC machine where you can cut out the plastic grips. Just think about it. If you had a CNC machine that you could cut a pocket out in those grips, because they're about 1/8, 100 thousandths thick. So you can take 50 thousandths off the side of those grips. And then you can use the same program to cut whatever you want to insert into them, whether wood or bone or whatever you want to put in there.
Right.
You could just cut it and it would fit right in there instead of doing the way I've done these two builds that I'm working on now. I think it would look a little better.
I would have loved for that CNC machine to work out perfectly. But what I realized is I'm going to have to invest a little bit more money to get something with a little bit more accuracy.
Yeah.
It kind of did the job, but I spent more time trying to duplicate or fixing a problem. So it'll cut halfway through, and then all of a sudden the pin that's cutting a launch across the room because things loosened up or the tray loosened up. So I definitely want to get another CNC machine because I definitely agree with you that I can show. Well, I can't show it live on TV, but on the stream, that's one of the problems with this. But I don't want to get her shut down tonight. But even though I'm just showing a frame that ain't even built out, but I cut into a frame on this latest build, and I ended up doing it by hand because I on the test pieces, it just would not cut the right shape or wouldn't duplicate it twice. So I'm trying to make sure that the template is right, and it cut the template, and then the template not be right, and then I adjust and so on and so forth. But I could never get it right. So I definitely want to get a CNC machine. It's going to cost a little bit more money. I went with one of those, Amazon specials, $250, because it was just small projects. It wasn't anything really big that I'm dealing with. So, but I might have to invest $500 to $1,000 to get a good one, but I have to make it has to make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to have to go to some old buddies of mine that are one of them runs a shop and some of them have a shop. And I'm going to see if I know they're into guns, and I'm going to see if I can talk them into doing some of this custom stuff on the CNC machines. Because I mean, once you're able to cut these grips, I mean, it's just wide open what you can do with them. Instead of trying to do it by hand. Now, when I first started building, I started doing all that by hand, and I would actually recess everything I cut out, and that takes forever. And that's not as hard as whatever you want to insert into it, getting it perfect to drop in there.
Yeah.
Because you can get your pocket right, and then you get your insert wrong. Well, then you got to do another insert. If you get your
Yep.
pocket wrong, you can always just open it up or fill it in. But it's all about being precise.
And if you mess up your pocket, that's messing up a frame, and you're kind of screwed.
Well, as long as you got no
depending
holes
on what
in
you're
it.
doing.
Yeah. As long as no holes in it, you can always come up with an idea to make it work.
Well, as you know, I punched a hole straight through mine.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times.
Well, I did it on purpose. You know, I was sweating the whole time. You know, going, oh, this better be the right size. If it's not the right size, I'm gonna die, because this is a frame, and it's a well, no, that's not a unicorn. I thought it was one of my CLs that I did it on. No, I did it on the V2. I had another V2 just in case, but I still don't like wasting money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was really nervous. See, I only have 2 CLs, and one of my builds that I'm doing this year is one.
Right.
And I want to put a walnut grip on it. And I was really nervous about what I was going to do to this, because I don't have but one left.
Yeah.
But I'll show you later in the custom corner how I come up with an idea to do this stuff. It was fairly easy. I mean, it didn't take 15, 20 minutes to get it ready to start putting the bone on there or the walnut. It really turned out to be pretty easy, actually.
Yeah. I think the ideal frames for what we both are trying to work on would be the Strike 80 frame or the SCT frame. I'm not sure how thick the SCT, but I know the Strike grip had that built up the built up grip that you can actually carve into without having to worry about blowing straight through the magwell.
Yeah.
So and unfortunately the Strike 80s, I think they're gone forever. So
yeah,
it is what it is on that. But you know, you have
once
some pop up every now and again for some ungodly prices, but you know.
Once I build up all the stuff I'm doing now, I'd like to get into the SIGs, just for the 320, so because you can just keep changing modules for them. And
yeah, I think I might end up being forced to do a 365 build, just because I purchased something over Black Friday, and you know, Christmas sales, and it's supposed to fit a 365. I don't own a 365 right now, but I went to put it on another frame or another grip module, and I noticed that it's basically a weapons mounted light and gas pedal combination, and it's not lining up. So I'm like,
I didn't think of that, man. I could buy a part, and then I could tell my wife, well, I got this part, but I don't have the rest of it, so I'll just go ahead and buy one.
Yeah, and I said to myself, I said, I could either modify it to fit the 320, or I could just do a 365.
Yeah.
And I might end up doing the 365 X macro, since it does have the bigger grip module. Because I know the regular 365 I can't stand; it's too small for my hands. But I did happen to fire an X macro a couple of weeks ago on the range. One of the students had, and you know, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. You know, but speaking of that, speaking of building, you know, at what point does it become counterproductive to, I mean, and I haven't directly related it to it, and this is just as it comes to SIG, and 365X macro, what's the difference in size from a 320 compact?
I have no idea.
My mentality is it's got to be close to the same. So why would I build a 365 when I already have a 320 compact? If it's close to the same, it's got the same grip angle and everything. But you know, of course, you could do different grip modules.
You get used to shooting like a 1911 or these P80s. They got the same angle on their grip. When you go to that SIG, they got more of a 90-degree
Man, I love my 320, dude. I'm actually contemplating carrying that and putting Copperhead up on the shelf for a while.
Yeah, I mean it's what you get used to. That's what I've shot all my life, so I kind of like that angle. I'm used to it. But man, it's all about, when you get into shooting the SIGs, you don't want to shoot nothing else. Once you get used to that squared handle, your whole sight spectrum that you get used to is when you grab and point, it is completely different than what you have in these other.
And that's what's crazy. I was just was it the other day I was doing some reload drills, and it's the first time I was doing I was reloading from the SIG to the Smith & Wesson X equalizer, and then going to Copperhead. And those are three totally different grip angles, but I shot them all the same. And this is just quick reloads and, going from gun to gun, three rounds, bang, 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 drop the mag, pick up the other gun, load the mag, boom. And I didn't feel a difference. So it's like, do you really feel a major difference when it counts? Like if you're in an emergency situation, or if you just have to shoot, and I shoot red dot, or green dot. So it's probably a little different shooting irons, because the irons are going to be a little different.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to the red dots.
Stop looking at the dot.
Yeah. I don't know. I've had to go to the dot because my eyes can't focus as good as I used to on the front and rear, lining them up. So the dot really helps.
With the one thing
if I shoot iron sights, I have to use my left eye. If I shoot a red dot, I can continue to use my right eye like I've always used.
Well, guys, you still close an eye with the red dot?
No, I keep it open, but
keep both eyes open.
One eye can't see it, but the other guy can. When I look at it with my left eye, I can see the end of the barrel and am able to line up the steel sights. So I don't know. Guys don't get old. Your eyes get bad.
Well, with the red dot, it's designed to be target focused, not sight focused. So if you're looking at anything but the target and putting the dot over the target, it's going to be a little more difficult, because you should be looking at the target and just putting the dot where you want the bullet to go, not looking at the and that's what happens with a lot of the students I teach. They'll look at the dot.
That's what I do. It's like this. I can see far vision with my left eye.
Gotcha.
I can see a little closer with my right eye. So when I'm looking at that red dot, I still see the whole background pretty good, and I see that dot. Where if I try to do that with my left eye, there's no way I can do that. But if I have iron sights with my right eye, give it up, guys. I can't see it. I can't see the sights. Well, I go back to the way I used to shoot in speed matches, where I really don't sight anything. It's the feel of the gun, like you point. You do the point thing. Let me get this right. You do the finger point. Well, when you grab your gun and shoot quick enough, you get to a point where you feel that gun in your hand. You're gripping it always the same time, and the barrel is like your finger, and you just point.
Yeah,
and it works real good for 50 feet. I don't know. That's what I used to do when I could see.
All right, well, let's say we're sitting at 10:22, 10:23. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Because I know a lot of people are interested in knowing. It's one thing to look on the forum and see what you're doing, but to hear you explain what you have going on, man, it just it sometimes makes more sense. And I know it makes more sense to me a lot of times when I hear you talk about it when we're in chat or whatever the case is. But why don't we go ahead and get you started here, because we definitely want to have time to get to Mr. Nosce Veritas and give away all of the things. So without further ado, I just want to go ahead and introduce the segment. Let's go ahead and get into Hawkeye's Custom Corner, man.
All righty. All right, there we go. That's why I pretty much started with. It's a you can tell it's a 17 long, and I'm putting this bone handle on it. And this thing is long. I'm telling you, when I first set everything up as a mock, I was looking, I said, this thing it's long. It's out of proportion. But when I started messing around with that bone handle, I thought, well, if I make the bone handle long enough, then the regular grip, it would help bring that long barrel more into proportion. And I think it kind of looks a little more proportion. But that's what I started out with. You can see I've done some mods, and the rubber bands holding it on. And the reason for that is when you do a build like this, putting those grips on is the very last thing you want to do. You want it all painted and everything. And then what I'm gonna use is that 360 super glue, that the same glue they used to mold in the rails on the Lone Wolves. That's the hardest epoxy I think I've ever seen, and it can take heat and stuff. So I feel pretty safe in using that. And to make all this work, the biggest problem is, especially with the bone, because bone is only so wide. You can't really make it super thin because it just falls apart. So what I did, if the one on the left there, that is 100 thousandths. That's about 1/8 thick. And that's what how thick the frame is when you first start. When you buy it and stuff, it's factory. So what I did was, you can see there, on this one, I took 40 to 45 thousandths off of this on both sides. That gives me about 100 thousandths worth of stock for the grips to go back, and that would bring it back to normal width. But with the bone, you can't actually do that. And so all this sanding I did here, you see, instead of trying to make a pocket for it to fit, I just sanded that whole side. And as I got towards the top and back where the trigger pins are and stuff, and back where the trigger housing is, I kind of feathered that out. So it kind of just all blends together. You don't see where it's took all that stock off. It just blends together. And that's the same way I did this one. Now this one's going to have the walnut on it. I still got to do a lot of trimming on this. It's not exactly right. I think it's too tall. I need to change some stuff around where that magazine release is. I don't like the way that looks. But you can see I did the same thing. But with the walnut, I've got it down to just over a 32nd thickness. So I didn't take as much stock off of it. And with the thickness of the walnut, we're right back to the standard thickness of the pistol. So when you're holding, you're not feel like you had a fence post. It's just all there. But with the bone, I've got it down to the same size as a P45. If you ever had a P45 in your hand, they got that wider grip. That bone is the same size as that.
Yeah.
Back in the days when I made grips a lot for wheel guns and stuff, and it was strictly target shooting, I always liked those bigger grips. I got a big hand but short fingers. And anytime you work on a grip for yourself, you always need to think about how it fits your hand. Just keep feeling it and take stock off, and so your hand feels fine in it. But that bone, it feels really good. It feels real good in my hand, which is good because I'm building that pistol strictly for targets. It's got a lot of good parts in it. I'm putting performance triggers in there. I'm using RAM's modification on those performance triggers to make them work. There are going to be some top-end guns here. But that's the walnut I got, and
they just went on sale yesterday too.
Yeah,
I might have to grab another one.
yeah. I could say, well, I got a trigger here. I need to build another pistol.
Yeah.
But now, once you get things worked out, seeing how you sanded the whole side off like I did, and you're doing all these other mods to the frame, and you're going to be painting and stuff, you have to have a way to hold that grip in the same spot all the time. So you know where you're working, so you know how it's going to lay. So what I did is I took my wood burner or my iron, and I pushed up a ridge on each side, and that holds that bone in place. So I know where it's going to fall every time, and that way I can work on the rest of the pistol, and I know exactly where that's going to fall. Now with the bone on the sides, of course, I'm going to do the front and the back of the grip. I'm going to be stippling that, so this is all going to be covered up and taken care of when I do that. But now let me give you some tips on that sanding. Now, when I sanded,
yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because you got such a smooth finish there. I'm like, man, I need to figure out how he's doing that.
Well, what I did was I started out with one of those palm sanders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like you would redo furniture or something.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't cutting it fast enough for me. So I put on a 1/2 inch barrel sander for my Dremel, and I used like a 120 or 240 grit paper on that, and I just held it flat and just went all over it. And then I would take that palm sander with an 80 grit on it and sand it a little bit, and then I'd go back. I just keep doing the same process and checking it every time I go down. That way I can control how much I took off. And also by doing that, it made that palm sander able to sand smooth like that, because the barrel sander, with that coarse grit in it, what it's doing is it's actually cutting grooves,
Yeah.
It just cuts grooves. Well, when you use that palm sander, which is an orbital type sander, and then it starts taking all that down.
That's crazy, because I was just thinking before you started talking about sander, I'm like, I wonder if I could get that effect by using a palm sander, and you just confirmed it. That's crazy.
And believe it or not, it didn't take me 20 minutes to do both sides of this once I figured out how I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like I said,
that just goes to show you guys, tools are tools. It doesn't matter what you use them for. Tools are tools.
You just got to know how to use them.
Yeah,
that's it. What I do is, because I got limited access to stuff, I look at what I want to do, how I can do it with what I have, on hand, which is limited. Of course, I got more than most, I guess, but that's the way I do it.
Hey, I still need to get me a drill press.
I hardly ever use a drill press. Really?
Well, for the SIG, if you use a 80% FPU, or FCU, you're gonna need a drill press.
Yeah. Can you still buy those? To get one.
Huh?
Can you still buy the 80%?
I haven't seen anybody have them lately, but who knows? They may come back. I don't know. Right. I have one that I haven't done, and I had bought I bought 2 serialized ones, and then I still had one 80%. So
that's what I was thinking about doing to cut down on the cost, is just go ahead and buying a serialized one and then buy my parts. And
the serialized ones now, they didn't jacked up the prices on those. I think when I got them, they were like $60 each, and now they're at least twice that now.
Yeah, I think they're more than that.
Yeah. So they jacked the price of with all of this crap going on with the ATF and everything, man. Prices are just fluctuating up, down, down. So you kind of gotta grab them, whether you plan on using it right away. You kind of grab those pieces. Like right now, they're the and not to cut you off, but the braces, because it's an indefinite injunction on the brace rule. The braces are back and at rock bottom prices. So, if you're thinking about doing any type of carbine build or some type of AR build with a short rifle, you might want to go ahead and grab those now, guys. But anyway, go ahead. Get back to frame mods.
Okay, I wanted to show you the one on the bottom is what I do to all my pistols. I hate those P80 steps. To me, it's just cheap looking. Now, I wanted to explain to you, if you ever want to do this, the right way to do this. You take the bottom. If you look at the top picture, you can see that step right there, and there's that inside corner. That's
right.
the tangent line that you want to shoot for. So what I do is I start taking that bottom edge and rolling it up. And then I'll take that top edge and I'll start rolling it down. And I'll work on one, then I'll work on the other, and I'll work. And what I'm trying to do is have both meet at that inside corner tangent. And once I get that, then I can sand it all up and make it look clean. And then it's got a rounded look, and you get rid of that step.
Now that doesn't mess with your slide function?
Not at all. The top of where the slide is stays the same. It's the same thickness, and all that barrel right there. There's really no stress to that. It's not a stress point of that pistol. It's just plastic for looks, and so I round it all off, and I figured out why I do that. If you look at this 45 on the right there, see how that frame looks? And look at the frame I built. It's almost identical on the shapes. And I think that's why I do that, because I like the 45. I've shot that all my life. And you can just see the difference in that. Another thing I did was I went ahead and I molded in all my mag wells, and you'll have to do this if you put inserts in it like this, because that mag well now does not fit. It'll wobble in there because there's so much space in there. So you got to go ahead and fill that up. Plus that screw right there, I'll get rid of that. What I'll do is I'll take.
You hate that screw.
I hate that screw. It makes everything look like something's been added to it. I want my pistols to look like that's the way they were made. That's factory. That's the way it is, instead of something that's added on. So I'll grind that whole screw off around the outside edge, and I'll take it off the top, and I'll get it to where I can reset it down in that plastic. And then I'll melt plastic right back over it, and then you can go stipple it, and you'll never know that sucker's there. And you probably really don't even need it there after you mold that mag well in. But I do just for the fact that it gives it extra strength.
Yeah, it's better to have it, because you never know what'll happen over time with shooting and the concussive.
Yeah.
You know,
and if you don't do that, you got a big hole there that's hard to fill. So this way, I'm only filling just a little bit on top, enough to stipple, and it's.
I'm trying to think. Did I do that on Liberator? I know I molded the magwell in. I can't remember. I think I filled the hole in. I'm pretty sure I did.
And believe it or not, you can actually feel it. You can feel the difference between a magwell that's screwed on and a magwell that's molded on. It just has a different feel. It doesn't. I don't know. It just feels solid to me. But
I like the dagger magwells, man. The dagger magwells, I don't know who did the geometry on those, but those suckers, I mean, when I put them on, I forget that they're actually magwells, because they form that well to the frame.
Yeah.
So what you were saying?
I use a lot of aluminum ones, and sometimes they work, sometimes they're not as tight. It also depends on how much mods I do to the grip itself, how they fit. The best one that I ever did, that as far as fitting, was that Lone Wolf one, but it looked like hell, and I hate those things. But the way they work is they actually slide in a groove, and then they come in the back, and they're secure. They feel secure. But that's where we're at now with my new sandblaster. You can see I've molded in the lag well, and I've made that little, towards the end of the mag well, there's a dip right there. that doesn't match up with my bone handle. Well, I filled all that in with JB Weld when I molded all that in, and it's all been shaped now. It doesn't look it now, but when that's painted, you won't see that at all. But that's where we are. We're waiting on painting and a serial number.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Did I put a serial? Yeah, I got a serial number on this one. I'd love to show you guys, but it'll come out in a couple weeks. I've just been overwhelmed with everything going on with work. But anyway, thanks, Hawkeye, for letting us get an inside peek at what you're working on, man. Because it definitely, at least for me, it gets my creative juices flowing and makes me want to do more. So but anyway, let's why don't we go ahead and get Mr. Nosce Veritas up here, because this dude, he's I don't know what to say about Nosce. Nosce is a solid dude. He went through some things last year and the beginning of this year, and he just said, you know what, I got to do family. I got to do, I support you guys and I'm always here for you, but I got to do family. And, we talk to him quite often, but he put together a safety second to round out the year, and he wants to be able to talk to you guys. So if you guys have anything, please hit the comments, hit the because he does watch the replays. So, when he gets, time on the next day, usually within 48 hours, he's watched the replay. So he will definitely see your comments. He'll see your live chats, because the live chats will still be on there. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Nosce Veritas.
Are we using sign language? Can you hear him?
It's Happy Kwanzaa. You can't hear him?
No.
All right, hold on. I can hear him, but give me a second. Let me pause it then. All right, let's see. Since you're not hearing him, why isn't anyone hearing him? All right, give me a second. Let me try and fix it then. All right, give me 1 second. I need to share it a different way. I thought you were hearing him. I was wondering why you said about sign language.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were doing.
No, we are not doing sign language. But let me see if I can. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear him when I turn it back on, okay?
All right.
Going to be a bit of a recap.
Yeah, there he is.
Maybe some new things.
All right, let's start him over.
All right. Hey, everybody. I want to say thank you all for joining in on this last stream of 2023. This is a pre-recorded segment by me, because I'm not going to be able to make the stream, but I wanted to contribute. First off, I hope everyone had a very happy holiday. Merry Christmas to those that celebrate it. Happy Hanukkah if you do that. Merry Kwanzaa, I think, is the right way to say that. If not,
it's Happy Kwanzaa, man. It's Happy Kwanzaa.
Gotta learn.
Happy whatever.
This segment of Safety Second is going to be a bit of a recap and maybe some new things here and there. Wanted to start off with, of course, our first thing always for general firearm safety. 4 golden rules. Always assume it's loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. I always like to share. My friend says, keep your booger hook off the bang switch, and I think that's just fine. Never point a firearm at something you aren't willing to destroy. Know your target and what's behind it, because, if you miss the target, it's going to keep going. And so, anyway, We all know that, I know, but quick recap for those that might be new to the community or new to firearms in general. Now, we're builders. We build. That's what we do. But if you're new to the community, new to the thought, new to the process, a couple of tips for build safety. When using a knife or other sharp object, please cut away from yourself. There's no need to slip and cut yourself. Be mindful of that. When milling any sort of metal, please, for the love of God, use eye protection. It's not pretty to get a little metal shaving in your eyes. It's not going to be fun, and it's going to hurt like the dickens. When using a drill, do everybody a favor. Keep your hands and other bodily objects out of the way, just in case. Probably won't come up, but just in case, be safe there, yeah? Now, that's general construction tips. Build specific. Oh my, drop test. Always drop test a new build. All 6 points. On the muzzle, on the butt, both sides, on the mag, on the slide. 6 feet up, drop it onto something firm, but not necessarily stone. Reams of paper work well. Magazines. Everybody's got a stack of guns and ammo, right? And I don't necessarily mean guns and ammo, but you know what I mean. Anyway, another great thing about build safety, check your sear engagement. Try to use one of these suckers right here. It's a Armorer's backplate. This one is by Ghost Ink. This one was 3D printed by somebody here. They're inexpensive, but they'll help you ensure that you have that proper sear engagement. You're looking for 2/3 or better. And of course, one of the last big tips for build safety, you're proud of your baby. You want to test it. You want to make it run. I get that. But first things first, after you've drop tested it, you got to do all your function checks. Use dummy rounds. These things right here are fantastic. They're cheap. Get them in every caliber you're going to build for. That happened to be a 9mm. I could have 40 Smith & Wesson, 357 SIG, 45, whatever. They make them. Get them. Use them.
And they're cheap.
Lastly, for build safety, never keep live ammunition in your build area. There's no need for it. It avoids accidents. We don't need a negligent discharge. There's no accidents. It's negligence. You are the only one that can prevent accidental fires. Kind of paraphrase from Smokey, but you know how it goes. Anyway, life safety. Because, boy, we build these things because we like them, but also, I'm guessing, because of a little bit of life safety being a concern. When working with or using firearms in general, please, for the love of God, stay away from intoxicants. It just avoids issues. I know. Some of you, I can handle my liquor. I can handle whatever. Fine. You know you. I get that. But just in case, just let it be. Now, it's been talked about before, the various color codes of safety. I'm going to say really simply, stay alert at all times. Keep your head on a swivel. Know your surroundings. Know who's around you. Keep an eye on what's going on, whether you're walking down the street, driving a car, hiking in the woods. I don't care. You need to be attentive to your surroundings or you're just not safe. Now, we can slip up from time to time. I get that. We're all human. But do your best. That's all anyone can ever ask from you. I would also recommend that you take a first aid class if you haven't already. They offer them at the Red Cross, community centers often, EMT services will often offer them, usually cheap, sometimes even free. Sometimes your work might even offer it. Get it. Never hurts, always helps. In correlation with that, have a first aid kit handy. Build it piece by piece if you have to. Get a trauma kit if you want to. Whatever you have that can help in an emergency situation is better than not. Speaking of which, make and practice plans for emergency situations, whether by yourself, with your family, your friends, whatever the case may be. Talk through these things with whoever could be affected by it and make the best plan you can, understanding that plans often go to well. Speaking of emergency plans, maybe even fun plans, learn basic survival tasks, how to make a fire. There's many ways to do it without matches or a lighter. Learn at least one of them, just in case. Carry a lighter or two with you too. Sure, matches, okay. Learn how to bushcraft a shelter. It doesn't have to be fancy, just has to keep the rain off you and keep the wind away from you just a little bit for just long enough to keep survival going, you know? Learn how to filter or sanitize water. You can do it with sand and rocks. You can boil it. You can do both. Of course, to boil it, you're going to have to know how to make a fire. So, foundational. You know, you are your own best and most dependable first responder, and likely that of your family and friends as well. So, be prepared, be safe, be there. And lastly, I just want to point out, life is rough. Sometimes there are things that weigh on us, and we might feel the need to do something drastic. I know YouTube isn't really a fan of the subject, so I'm not going to get into explicit detail, but if you're ever having dark thoughts and need to talk to somebody, reach out to somebody. Talk to a friend, a community member, your local clergy, whatever the case may be. And if you can't or don't feel comfortable talking to any of those people, call 988. It's better that than the alternative, because you are valuable, you are fantastic, and you are appreciated. And with that, I think I'm going to say God bless in the new year. Thank you all so much. And stay safe out there.
Okay, now we can't hear you.
I turned off my mic because I didn't want to interrupt him with anything, because I know what he was saying was important, and it's nothing more important than what he ended with, man. It's just, guys, we have got to, hold each other up. You know what I mean? And the one thing he left out is, if you can't bring yourself to call 988, call one of us.
Yeah.
I mean, reach out to us. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead, and if you're a part of a forum, you have a way to reach me in the chat.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to reach out to me in chat, or you want to ask, hey, you know what? Let me get your number, and I'll give my number to any of the brothers in the forum. You need somebody to reach out to, call me. It's real easy, we're all here to help each other. So, but I don't want to end on a solemn note. But guys, join us in the forum. We're gonna have some special things going on over the next few days. The forum may or may not. No, the forum will be sunsetting soon. Okay. As with the forum as we know it will be sunsetting soon. I'm probably going to take over doing the forum on the Gentleman Designs website. I just have to talk to Nas about how we can do that. It'll still be the Builders Tribe Forum, but the forum as we know it'll be sunsetting soon. And I don't want anyone to be caught by surprise, like we've been caught by surprise in the past when we wake up one day and the forum's just gone. We don't want that. This was a decision that hasn't been come to lightly, and we're going to continue the live streams with probably, not so often, maybe once a month, as opposed to once a week, because it's just gotten, between all of us, is gotten a little hard to get us all together. As you see, Weapon's not here tonight because he's under the weather. Nosce did a recording because he knew he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. Hawkeye and I.
Winter's about the only time I do building, so unless somebody chimes in on what they want to talk about, I'm kind of limited. I've already told you guys how to do everything. You need to get out there and start doing it.
And I'm going to start posting up more on the new forum. I'll post a few things on the current forum, but provided Nosce is able to help me get the forum set up on the Gentleman Designs website, and we'll be doing that. But as far as the live stream, guys, this is going to be our last live stream for a while. It's not only the finale for 2023, it is the finale for the Builders Tribe Fireside Chat. Again, not a decision that's taken lightly. I love being here with you guys.
I love
talking about what we talk about.
This is what I do, is I talk about building, and this is where I do it at. There's not too many places left you can do it.
Yeah, and that's I wanted to talk a little bit about the community and what we've seen, but we've got a couple of people that are not here that definitely have some good input, and looks like a lot of our crew may have been busy tonight, just based on who's in the chat area. I know Mr. Vino's there, and I know Salmon is there, and I know Senior Moment was there. I don't know if he still is, but he probably is. But we're going to get into that subject because a lot is going on. I mean, it's changing on a day-to-day, sometime hour-to-hour basis, what we can and can't do. And of course, all states are different. But I don't want to belabor the point, guys. Just know that we have some giveaways we want to give away, but I don't want to do that tonight. I want to make sure we have a lot of guys. So we may do another impromptu live stream at some point, just to do. I mean, we have a lot of stuff to give away, man. There's a lot of donations that came in that we just haven't had the opportunity to give away. I mean, just look at what Nosce sent us. He 3D printed the Builders Tribe stand, and it's for a Glock and a mag. But I have a bunch of them, man. I have at least 4 of them to give away, and they're all ready for you to paint the way you want. And this one, he had some stuff left over, but they're gonna be sent in parts. But you just put them together and you paint them the way you want. I think I might leave this one red, but these are awesome, man. And he printed a bunch of them for us to give away to you guys. And I'll be damned, but I'm going to give them all away. So stay tuned. Stay tuned into the forum. Hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll just get together and we'll do. No, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something. We'll do a live stream just for giving stuff away, like we used to do in the past.
Yeah.
All right. If you were a member of the old forum, the forum where most of us met at, we used to get together on a Wednesday and just give stuff away, or raffle stuff off. We gave some stuff away, but we raffled off a lot of it. But we're just going to be giving away stuff. So if you need it, we'll figure out a way to get your name on the list, and we'll just give a bunch of stuff away. Sound good, Hawkeye?
Sounds good to me.
All right, my man. Well, Yeah, it was definitely very wacky for sure. But with that being said, guys, we are going to bid you a farewell. It is 10:58. We're just under an hour. We started a couple of minutes late because my computer decided to reboot as I went live. But we love you guys, and we definitely appreciate you being here. We will see you again, and it might be in the new iteration. We will definitely be doing some live streams. That is going to be sunset from here. We will talk to you later. We love you all. We'll
See you
on
on
next
the
one.
trip, man.
All right, guys.